Hello, friends of the podcast, old and new. It is I, Jack, a Welsh human being living in America, and it is Dan, a Welsh human being living in Wales. Hi, Dan.
Hi, Jack.
Can't be bothered to do an episode this week, so should we do something else?
Yeah, it's too warm.
It's just
too warm
too hot.
I have been described that way before.
Yeah, it's too hot for news.
I had heat stroke, and the doctors were really worried. But all's well.
All's well in heat. It's too hot to do anything. So, in light of that, we're going to do a least worst of episode. Not best. Very important. Not best of.
We'd never claim that.
No.
We'd never claim best.
Come on.
Well, it's not for us to say. It's for you to say in your 5-star reviews everywhere.
Yeah, we can't be bothered to do most of the legwork today, so TBC 1000 is going to do some review chat right now.
Hello, you idiots. It's TBC 1000. Rate and review this podcast. It literally costs nothing and can help get more listeners. Jesus Christ, just do it and be nice.
And Dan, what have we got on this episode, please?
We've got some of the very least worst of the podcast that we think is really going to show the not so terrible quality of the podcast. But also, it's just a fun way for new listeners to catch up on some of the old episodes, because we've done quite a lot of episodes now. And there's some stories out there that sort of, we put out when we only had... the one listener, and now we've got over 4. So it's about time we sort of revisited some of the least worst stuff.
Take it away, me or Dan.
Petrol station manager posts woman's used sex toy back to her in clear packaging. So there's a lot to unpack here.
Not most of the sex toy.
So a petrol station manager said he posted a driver's 8-inch sex toy back to her in clear packaging after she left it at his workplace.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, so Duncan Edwards, 47, was stunned after a cleaner apparently found the battered strap-on next to the vacuum cleaners on Saturday. I think by battered, I think he means that it's old, not that she's previously tried to pass it off as a jumbo sausage at a local chippy to get rid of it. So apparently, there's this. So he removed the strap-on,
right,
using a pair of diesel gloves. It's a strap-on, mate, not nuclear waste. Unless the strap-on's previous owner was Alexander Litvinenko or the Incredible Hulk, I don't think Bruce Banner's dropping it off. I don't think you need to worry about it. The father of 2 runs the garage in Leafy Holmes Chapel, Cheshire, claims he posted the sex toy in shrink wrap and packaging because it came in a box with an address on it, and they've assumed, I think incorrectly, that the box belonged to the person whose strap-on it was. And they've put, the box with their address on it with discarded strap-on. For a start, I don't understand why someone's getting rid of stuff at a petrol station.
Yeah.
Who just rocks up to a petrol station being like, I need to do some fly tipping with my sex toys. I'll do it in a place where people go and work, and there are security cameras.
Yeah. There couldn't be more, heavy footfall than a petrol station.
Yeah, it's just so random. I need to get rid of this private thing. I'm gonna leave it in a library. It's just, there's people there.
just do a sensible thing and drop it in the bin at the end of your street.
Speaking from his home in nearby Stockport, Duncan said it was like a real life Toy Story.
What? What are you talking about?
Duncan, have you ever seen Toy Story? Yeah, I remember. I love Toy Story. It's one of my favourite films. It's the tale of when 10-year-old Andy loses his strap-on, voiced by Tom Hanks. Then he has to team up with Andy's new sex toy, Buzz the vibrator, and they're helped by all the other toys like Mr. Potato Plug. Erection, the dinosaur, and Slinky, who it's probably like anal beads or something.
It brings whole new meaning to the song "You've Got a Friend in Me."
Yeah, I think what might have happened to you is Duncan's seen the porn version of Toy Story and has just assumed that is the film. That's what he's given on DVD. But like, he didn't spot the clue that the film is made by Dixar, not Pixar. There is more to this quote. He says, it was like a real-life Toy Story, albeit with a different kind of Woody. That is one hell of a walk he's gone on there to get to the Woody point.
That is... I can't. The reach is too great. I'm too short for that.
He then goes on to say it was a Whopper, which is a strap-on a burger. Is a Whopper, and obviously a much-loved member of someone's family. They haven't dropped off a child in a Moses basket like the people do outside a police station. It's a strap-on. I don't think you can describe it as a much-loved member of someoe's family. It was pretty well battered and the elastic was frayed. It looked like it had been stretched no end, and there were marks on the actual equipment. It wasn't nice.
Equipment.
He said, part of my thinking was, if I send it back like that, they might think twice about discarding used equipment. There could have been children about. Now, Duncan says that the sex toy was found with the vacuum cleaners. So is Duncan secretly admitting that he keeps children in the little cupboard where the vacuum cleaners are?
What a classic moment that was. Should we do the next story?
Let's have another one, Dan.
And we go now to Ohio, where...
I'm already excited.
Iguana thrown at restaurant manager in protective custody.
Right. So the manager, being technically a protected species, to make their point, has chosen what must also be a protected species and thrown it at him.
Yes.
Please, can you just... I mean, I assume there's more information to fill in the blanks on this story.
So...
Iguana know the rest of this.
First off, like many of the headlines I find, it's misleading. Because to me, iguana thrown at restaurant manager in protective custody suggests that the restaurant manager is in protective custody, right?
Oh, it very much does. That was precisely my opening comments where, on that understanding. Is the iguana in protective custody?
Yes. So...
what?
Yeah. No, not the restaurant manager. The iguana is the one in protective custody. So,
has it witnessed a crime?
An iguana injured when a man pulled a lizard from under his shirt and threw it at an Ohio restaurant manager remains in protective custody at a humane society that is awaiting court permission to provide medical treatment. This sounds like this iguana is in jail.
So the crime it witnessed is itself flying through the air and colliding with a restaurant manager.
Yes. The turquoise female iguana that police have named Copper, doesn't make sense, has a broken leg.
Look, this dog is brown. I'm going to call it Green. Come here, boy. Come on, Green.
So, Copper, the turquoise female iguana, has a broken leg, metabolic bone disease, and other ailments.
Do they catch that off the restaurant managers? Metabolic bone disease, that's what the guy had.
Yeah. Lake County Humane Society officials told WEWS, WOOS TV...
What is it up with American radio stations and TV channels? Do they all just have to be a mad concoction of letters? It's like, hey, we're in Chicago listening to BEZ67C7-2C-C4 TV. What? After the time, you'd expect it to just be like Chicago News or whatever, but it's all like BE7 Channel 9.
I can kind of confirm that after 6 months of being here, Dan. I'm none the wiser. There's no rhyme or reason. And I looked into the I think the LA one is like KRCW. What does that mean? And I've looked into it, and they are at best radio signals, at worst no one cares about that. It's confusing. Change it to the city or town that you're in. Thanks. Back to Woos TV, WEWS TV. Lake County Humane Society told the TV station that the animal needs corrective surgery that will cost about $1,600. But that cannot happen until a judge gives its approval.
What is this iguana made of? Like diamonds?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it can't be any bigger than a laptop, right?
How big is an iguana?
That's it.
Alexa.
They can't be more than, an arm's width apart.
Right. How big is... Okay. Oh, they vary. So is this a blue iguana, wasn't it?
Turquoise, please.
Turquoise.
Does that change things?
It doesn't exist, mate. Because there's according to this very rapid search I've done, there's a green iguana that's 30 to 42 centimeters, marine iguana that's 60 to 100 centimeters, and the blue iguana with 51 to 76 centimeters. That's very much the Goldilocks porridge of iguanas, mate. Green iguana, 42 centimeters, marine iguana, 100 centimeters, then bang in between the blue iguana. Just right. It's 76 centimeters.
The Humane Society is now seeking a tax-deductible donation, of course, to pay for the surgery. Copper, the turquoise iguana, is receiving basic care for now. Very, very basic care. Maybe just throwing it a Kleenex, giving it maybe some Savlon.
It's just got some tomato soup.
Chicken soup, Savlon, and a Band-Aid.
Right, this is all very interesting, but can we go back to is there any answer why a man threw an iguana at this restaurant owner?
I'm happy you asked, Dan. According to authorities, the man threw a menu at a waitress at a Perkins restaurant to get her attention. A menu, fair enough. At least it's not an iguana, okay?
Yeah, that's still a dick move. Is that iguana in menu in protective custody now? getting some chicken soup and a few biscuits.
Hello, I closed the menu and you didn't pay attention, so I'm going to throw it at you.
We're very concerned that the menu is very shaken up.
It's going to.
They've really shaken up the menu now. We're putting starters in the middle.
It's going to cost $2,000 to get the basic care it needs. When a manager intervened to break up the situation, obviously the waitress was very annoyed. The man then removed the iguana from beneath his shirt in a Debbie McGee move. Twirled it around and twirled it around. Why? It's not the WWE. Or is it? Because of the... Oh, no, it's WWF. Ignore that joke! Twirled it around and threw it at the restaurant manager.
So we're looking for an iguana owner who's been trained as a bartender.
It's Tom Cruise. Authorities haven't said what provoked the attack, other than this guy being a complete knob cheese.
I love the idea that in America there's a big argument now, about like gun control and everything. Like people like to feel safe and they like to have guns on them. And this guy's gone, things might kick off later. I'm going to put an iguana in my shirt because you never know what's going to happen. Why? I just can't get that logic of thinking, what's really going to get me out of a jam later. Although maybe it did work. Like you suddenly go, iguana! Everyone's going to go, what? And you can burst out out of the shop. Anyone who's a robber, you could definitely pull off a bank robbery with just running in, going, iguana! Throwing an iguana in, then grabbing all the money as everyone just goes, shit. It's a turquoise iguana called Copper. I mean, we've spoken about this story for a little while now, and I can't say... I think I know less than before you even told me anything about this story.
What would this podcast be without useless, confusing, somewhat irritating information?
Dan, stay there. One of us is about to chat shit to someone somewhere to give us some money, kind of.
Great story, Dan. Now, have you ever thought about starting your own podcast? When we were trying to get this podcast off the ground, we had a lot of questions. How do we record an episode? How do we get the show into all those apps that people like to listen to? Most importantly, how do we actually make money from this podcast? How do we get that dollar or pound, because British? The answer to every one of these questions is really simple. Anchor. Anchor is a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing your podcast. And it is 100% free and easy to use. I still don't understand how both of those things collaborate. And now, Anchor can match you with great sponsors who want to advertise on your podcast. That means you can get paid to podcast right away. In fact, that's what I'm doing right now by reading this ad. Wait a minute. The reason me and Dan use Anchor is because we record from different countries. We use the app Anchor to kind of talk to each other across the pond. So it makes it super simple. We both log in and voila, we've made a podcast thousands of miles away from each other. So if you've always wanted to do something like that and start a podcast and make money doing it, go to anchor.fm/start to join me and Dan and the diverse community of podcasters already using Anchor. That's anchor.fm/start. We're pretty excited to hear all the other podcasts, as long as they're not about news, because that's ours.
Welcome back to you, Jack, and everyone else.
Classic us.
It really is. I see another story coming our way now.
Picture the scene, okay? You are a exotic animal specialist operating in the West Midlands of the UK, which
oxymoronic.
Yeah, I imagine what an exotic animal specialist accounts to in the West Midlands is, someone who's met a poodle. So this exotic animal specialist was called. He was, on the emergency line. We need your help. Called to catch a salamander that was on the loose. Which are you familiar with what a salamander is, Jack?
I think it's like, is it like a newt?
Yeah, it's like a lizard. It's a lizard-like amphibian.
Okay.
A sort of wet, creepy, crawly thing, like Piers Morgan after a shower. And so this guy turned up at this house where apparently a salamander was on the loose. He found the homeowner. It was described as the homeowner was found cowering in her home, cowering. Which is, I'm pretty certain, is only something that happens in cartoons. I don't think anyone really cowers, particularly because I don't think salamanders have worked out to use door handles. She could have just gone in another room. Well, anyway,
Cowering.
Picture the scene. He's come to the house. It's a salamander. He's never come across a salamander before. This is new to him, and he's an exotic animal specialist. There's a woman cowering in her own home because of this salamander. He creeps up to it. All his gear is ready, and it turns out it's a cuddly toy of a lobster.
What? Hang on. Hang on. So it's not real.
No, there was no salamander. This woman saw a cuddly toy shaped like a lobster and instantly phoned for help, thinking it was a salamander on the loose, right? Do you know how the this is why he's an exotic animal specialist? Do you know he would have spotted this? Do you know how he worked it out? Because he got sort of within about 10 yards of this thing, and he saw it had a label attached to it. So I don't know how this woman did this. She must have phoned it in thinking that maybe the salamander has a barcode on its tail or something. That's just what it is. Maybe she thinks if you go to Africa, you want to buy a plot of land in Africa, you just have to scan the zebra that's standing on it. The article describes it as, so he found the householder cowering in the living room, but he soon saw that she was hiding from a harmless, cuddly lobster, which is, it's good to point out that it is a harmless, cuddly lobster, because some cuddly lobsters are known to be quite vicious and, if we're honest, a bit racist. Paul Seddon of the RSPCA said, I went over to the balcony. I could see it was a soft toy complete with label. So instead of getting any equipment out to capture the creature, I borrowed a brush to knock it off to the ground.
This is insane.
So the woman seemed shocked to find out it was only a toy, but relieved at the same time and was very apologetic.
Was it hers though? I just don't understand. Wait,
it doesn't explain where this has come from. There is a photo of the cuddly toy. Can you see it?
Wow.
Now, for listeners, I should point out that this creature, I don't know if you've ever seen a real lizard, but they don't usually have a stitched pattern to the skin. Or big sort of buttons for eyes.
This is so silly.
This story is absolute gold, but the article actually goes into other parts of Paul's career, right, where he's been called out to other things that weren't quite right. And this was the sentence that made me decide I absolutely had to cover this story.
Okay.
Okay. So brace yourself.
Okay.
Paul has previously been called out to a bat that turned out to be a moth. And at least that one was an animal.
Yeah, fair.
And an injured cow that was actually an old white bath.
What?
Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I just picture someone seeing a bath in a field and gone, that cow's in trouble. He's got taps coming out of his head.
What the fuck is happening? Like, why? How be so bold to be like, it's injured? Not only is it a cow, that cow is injured.
Yeah, there's a cow in distress. Oh, it is. I think it's in distress because it seems to be shaped like a bath, and cows aren't normally shaped like a bath.
Dan, Duck, another story's coming.
What? Ah! I've just been smacked in the face with old news.
Mass school sickness blamed on spicy chips. Sympathetic vomiting, health officials say.
Sympathy vomiting.
Yeah.
So one person got ill and everyone went, oh, mate, no, I'm not going to let you go through this alone. Or is it that thing when you see someone being sick and something that makes you feel really sick?
That's what it is.
And it's just gone through an entire school.
Yes.
One person's just gone, oh, these chips are a bit, oh, don't make that noise, I can't, and it's just gone down like dominoes, like sick dominoes down a table.
It's a choral rendition of,
Yeah. You know, like in primary school, you do a song in a round. Well, they've obviously done that with actual sick noises. It's the one person starts going, and then the next person does it just one beat behind, and the next person one beat behind.
24 10/11-year-olds and one adult fell ill Wednesday afternoon at Petrie Elementary School. The whole school had to be cleaned.
Or even the outside.
The sudden onslaught of mass vomiting at an elementary school in North Carolina wasn't caused by a nefarious disease, but rather fruit-flavored concentrate, spicy food, and sympathetic vomiting, public health officials say.
Right, so let's go back to the spicy chips. So, were these just, you know, you can have those like I don't know, they're called like Carolina Reaper or the Devil's Chili and stuff.
Yes.
They're just so spicy.
Yeah.
There was a video a few years ago, these two girls who were like, we got a bottles of water, we're gonna eat these chilies, and then they literally put them in their mouth and start going like sweating, and their eyes like start bleeding, and the hair starts falling out. It's absolutely ridiculous. Like, it's that, did someone pick up, you know, like in a cartoon, where it's like one box says this is fine and the other box is like extreme poison.
Yeah.
Did they pick up the box that said chili that people can eat? And inexplicably there's a one tub that says chili powder that isn't fit for human consumption. Seriously, everyone will die. And someone's gone, I can't remember which one's which.
Also, I love the use of fruit-flavored concentrate, i.e. squash.
What have they put in the squash?
What have they put in the fruit-flavored concentrate?
Yeah.
And also,
that's someone going, that's clearly the scientist or the health expert who's had to go in and study this school going, This report's pretty puerile. I don't want this getting picked up by the national press and turned into a joke. I'll say fruit-flavoured concentrate. I'll make it a little bit too dense for them to get into. And obviously some clever journalist has gone, well, mate, loads of puking, that's funny. I'm taking that.
Well, the it's so nefarious was this event. State lab results had to be carried out, and they ruled out chemical or infectious agents.
Oh, they thought they're bloody... Well, did they have any cathedrals nearby? Because that's the only reason any sort of Russians would have turned up with poison.
Yeah, they were sitting outside a park with a Sainsbury's bag. After conducting interviews, health officials concluded those sickened ingested the concentrate without diluting it, so they had the squash without putting any water in it, and ate a lot of spicy crisps.
Oh, my God. I can't believe the vomiting was so bad. The squash, essentially squash and chips, was so bad. The local government went, could be Novichok. It could be Novichok. This might be chemical warfare. Not that you just forgot to dilute the squash. This is amazing. Also, you do say it was 24.
Yeah.
So that's 24 kids.
Yeah. Wiped out a class.
That is when you actually think about that, 24 children. Let's just go through it right. One child is being sick. Another child is being sick. Another child is being sick.
Yeah.
Sick. By now, you'd think at least the sick was calming down. They'd have an idea how to stop it. But no, I've still got sick. That was 24 sick children.
And Dan, I don't know about you, but as a child, and say you went on a school trip on a bus, and you always have one sick child, always. That alone is enough to
That's a crisis. That's a full blown we're turning the bus around.
Yeah, it's unbearable. So to have every single child on that bus essentially vomit is I'm surprised there are no deaths here.
Yeah.
My new favorite thing is sympathetic vomiting, though. I
I love that phrase.
It's so stupid. I love that some were just afraid of not getting any attention. And they were like, I've got to be sick too.
I know what you mean. Blah.
I didn't even have the fruit flavored concentrate.
That was a collection of least worst news stories that we've covered over the last however many months. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Keep musing.
You're joking.